All right, guys. So we got to talk about day two of the Diddy case. So I got to be honest, guys. From what I'm seeing in the 2 days in, is a very weak case on the state's behalf, and in this country, the threshold is beyond a reasonable doubt. And so far, from what I'm seeing, I don't see a lot of number one evidence of the crimes they're alleging, which is just to remind you guys, is racketeering, 2 counts of X trafficking, and 2 counts of transportation for the purposes of X. So I don't really see a clear cut strategy coming from the prosecution as to how we get there. So I've looked over all of the testimony from today. I've looked over Cassie's testimony, though a lot of it is shocking and riveting, and we have the whole emotional element there. Cases can't be decided on emotion, and that really is what is looking more and more obvious to me is the prosecution's game. I mean, we got this symbolic all-female prosecution team. We have the fact that we got a very pregnant Cassie on the stand. I don't believe that that was an accident. The first thing they went to was the tapes, and everything it seems to just be made for the purposes of shock and awe. What I don't think they counted on was Diddy having such an effective defense counsel. I mean, he literally broke down both of the witnesses yesterday, from the guard to the manager. Diddy's defense team really did a good job of dismantling some of their testimony. And today with Cassie, I mean, sure, we all got to hear, some of the tragic circumstances involved with her and Diddy's relationship, but we really didn't hear a clear cut example again of him having this big racketeering enterprise. I don't really see the trafficking, as far as I don't see clear lines like he was some sort of pimp, she was some sort of escort, and he pimped her out for the purposes of profit. And I don't really see much as far as transportation. I mean, if we're going to say that transporting someone for those purposes, I mean, shoot, we'd all be in jail. So I'm not seeing a really clear-cut case by the prosecution that would warrant these charges. Now, that's me saying it, but I know you guys say to me, well, you must just want Diddy to win, or you're anti-woman, and neither one is the case. But what I am for is a justice system that's fair and honest. And I said before this thing started that it looked like nothing more really than a show trial. And what they used to do in the Soviet Union back in the day is have these trials. They demonize a person, and they may have certain reason to, but that's not why the person was really put on trial. They just doctor up and trump up different charges and elevate them enough to warrant a guilty verdict on this person, when it wasn't really about the evidence presented at trial that convicted him. It was the court of public opinion. And of course, we have a court of public opinion here too. And I think that has run its course. We had a court of public opinion. We had about 8 months to do that. Now it's time for the wheels of justice to take over. And therefore, you have to bring in evidence. Let's take a look at this article here, guys. This is at CNN. This is their coverage of day two that we're going to be taking a look at. So you'll know here, this is day two testimony in the Diddy Combs case. Some of the headlines are: Cassie Ventura detailed alleged freak-offs and relationship with Combs to the jury. And here's a recap. Cassie Ventura, Sean Diddy Combs' former girlfriend, testified about her relationship with the music mogul and the alleged freak-offs during the federal criminal trial today. She'll be back on the stand tomorrow. And here's what we learned today. So early stages of the relationship, Ventura testified that the relationship started platonically when she was signed on to Bad Boy Records in 2006 at the age of 19. She later told the court that she was really confused the first time she kissed Combs while celebrating her 21st birthday. She described him as a fun guy who also happened to have his career in her hands. Ventura said some of their arguments would be violent and result in some sort of physical abuse. He would smash my head, knock me over, drag me, kick me, stomp me in the head as if I was down, she said. Combs experienced mood swings, and if she didn't answer the phone, he would call her incessantly or send staff to find her. Those allegations are pretty strong. We don't see very much mention of her running to police or us finding out that this was something that she felt was violating her space. Then it goes into the coverage of the encounters. Says in the first years of the relationship, Ventura said Combs proposed this encounter that he called voyeurism, where he would watch me be in intercourse with another man, which shocked her. She said she didn't feel like she could refuse him, adding that Combs controlled a lot in her life. It kind of begs the questions, guys. At what point are females responsible? Yes, he was a very powerful figure. Yes, he had a strong personality, but I'm sure she had friends around her. I'm sure she had family around her. And I'm sure that she was given advice about this sort of stuff. You know when a loved one is changed. You know when a loved one is under some sort of abuse. And she apparently comes from a loving family, and she felt like she could go to no one, not even the authorities. These are the type of things that have to be proven in court, or have to give the jury doubt that there was no way out for her. Maybe she didn't see it at the time, but that's not to say the jury is going to agree that there's no way she should have made some decision to seek outside help. I still don't see an airtight case. It says the testimony was emotional. It went on to talk about power dynamics. It goes on to also talk about different incidents that took place in hotels where they would evidently hire different escorts, and over time Cassie didn't want to do these things, or at least she expressed to him that she wasn't, but again didn't really make any strong attempt to escape his clutches. And I don't see that the prosecution really did anything to make any of the charges become more clear in the jurors' minds. Again, we got racketeering. Where do we see that so far in this case? We got the trafficking. How do you consider trafficking? That's such a wide term when it comes to this sort of thing. They're in a relationship. So do we look at that for all relationships? Like, what's going to be the measure? What will this precedent set forth for other relationships going forward? I mean, if you're a guy, you got to be kind of shaking in your boots here that if some of these charges like transportation and prostitution within the bounds of a relationship where neither party explicitly stated that that's what was going on, you got to wonder if that's going to be setting a very dangerous precedence going forward. I know today we're all in our feelings about what happened to Cassie, but at some point moving forward, if there's a guilty verdict here, this is going to be legal precedent for other cases. And that's my main concern here, is that, we can't use these show trial results or these trials that get convictions based on very little evidence and hope that that becomes the new standard. So that's something we got to really look out for. Well, that's going to recap the first couple of days of the trial, guys. Like I said, it looks like the state has a very weak case. And when it comes to the justice system, when it comes to fighting for someone's guilt or innocence, I believe the evidence should speak for itself. I don't believe emotion should play any part in whether or not a person is found guilty or innocent. But that's all I want to say on this one, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, whether you agree with me, whether you think I'm totally outrageous. Give me your opinion either way, because that's how we dialogue. And also do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. And I'm going to go back and work on the next video for you guys. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.